Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Welcome, Dr. Nirmala Liyanage, and I just give a brief introduction to Dr. Nirmala because she has taken this challenge and responsibility to conduct the workshop for a 3 days workshop, but it will continue, like the next 2 weeks on the row, and the presentation workshop title is the meta mystery and advanced meta analysis technique. This is one of the latest statistical tool used globally, and I think for the students, and also there are number of the staff also involved here. This will be a fantastic opportunity, and whatever the stats you generate from here, and you don't need a lot of resources, but within this frame of statistics, you can write top journal publication, even include Nature and Science, etc. So Dr. Nirmala is the product of Ruhuna, and so she was 2 years elder in the sense that 2 years senior to me, and in fact, she taught to me as well, one stage, and she was a staff at the engineering department of engineering, and then she was a librarian once upon a time, assistant librarian, and then she moved to Sydney to do her PhD, and she not end up with one PhD. She did 2 PhDs, one in statistics and other one is soil chemistry. She has a vast experience, and she's now working as a consultant statistician for the university, and also she's an academic staff at the Sydney University, one of the top university in the world. Now we're recently ranked in the world top 20th, come into top 20th university. And I don't want to take a lot of time. She's an expert in this discipline, and all the students and staff also here, like they can take a lot from Dr. Nirmala, and she's a very passionate of Ruhuna University, and she's very happy to work and help and student, and she's already started working with a number of students at the Department of Engineering. I want Dr. Nirmala to continue this association and help us, and also want to see a fantastic the workshop for the student. I think definitely everybody will get benefited from it. So I will pass the whole thing to Dr. Nirmala, and so okay, welcome to Ruhuna, and welcome to the new course, new like a workshop, and so I'll stop from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Samman, and it's very kind of you to give this opportunity to me. In the deep down, I am not someone who want to come back, but you convinced me to come back. Anyway, Chinta, can you please let me share the screen, please?
Yes, you can. I think yes. Yes. Give me 1 second. I think you can now. Kindly try. No.
No.
Just give me 1 second. Okay. Now okay, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Now okay.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming for listen to me. And the topic is really boring topic, but I try my best to not to take it as boring subject. Okay, so as in Sydney University, we usually start with the acknowledgement. I would like to begin the acknowledging and paying my respect to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land. It is upon their ancestral land the University of Sydney is built. As we share our own knowledge, teaching, sharing, and research practices within this university, may we also pay respect to knowledge embedded forever within the Aboriginal custodianships of this country, their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here today. I also pay my respect to your parents, your elders, past and present, to share their genes and values with you and acknowledge their sacrifices to make you a wonderful person to give us the share our knowledge and experience. Congratulations to earn a place in the magnificent University of Ruhuna, which is my alma mater. And I also really respect lots of teachers who show me the research career and also my education. Okay, so I'll try to find few of the pictures of myself. So this is, I think, maybe the third year, somewhere close to Ullala. My research experience expand from the fertilizer research to the ecosystem modeling. Apart from that, I like to walking and have the scenic photography, and also I'm teaching Sinhala in the first generation of Sri Lankan Australian children. Okay, so there's another picture. I think now you only see water in this area. When you first enter to the faculty, there's a water reservoir there. So this is my field when I was doing my 500 series project. Okay, so my talk is, can you guys hear me? Oh,
Yes, yes, clearly here. We can hear.
okay, so my talk organized in 4 sections. One is systematic review, and the meta-analysis 1, meta-analysis 2, and if the time permits, I'm planning to do a hackathon in the last day. So today I'm going to talk about the systematic review and also the meta-analysis 1. So before I talk about the meta-analysis, I'd like you guys to talk about what is the best way to review a research paper for your literature review. So if you think for a moment, and maybe you could use the chat to write something in it. So I don't mind the academic staff, any of you join this small discussion. Few minutes to think about and write what is the best way to start a literature a review, a research paper. You can off the microphone and talk, or maybe you could write something on using the chat. Okay, read the abstract.
About keywords. I think it's keywords, to decide the keywords.
Yes, the important thing is that, yes, find in the keywords and then use that keywords to find the relevant research paper to your topic. Anything else? Search Google Scholar, define the topic. Decide the topic and divide the topic into several categories. That's good. That's all, okay. So the thing is, that's not really a best way. You can use any way which is suitable for you. I just put a few guides, find the keywords, preliminary reading. So that means you are reading a little bit and skim the paper and then start to detailed reading, and also then analyze critically, and then summarize key points and organize your notes, writing a review. So some of the tips I think I can give you is the critique thoughtfully, of a balanced critique, acknowledge both strength and weaknesses, what kind of statistical method they use for the research, and whether this is good or bad, or what are the weaknesses. And also keep a literature matrix, a table, summarize everything in a one single table. So it will make your life very easier later if you do that. And also keep organize your things. Otherwise, it's going to be really a mess. So, okay, so now I'm going to talk about the systematic review part of my talk. So systematic review is a methodological and comprehensive literature review focused on a specific research question. Okay, so then when you have a research question, then you can compile all the relevant studies on that specific topic and then overview of those existing evidences. And also, this helps us to identify the gaps in knowledge and also areas require further research. These slides are a little bit crowded, but I thought that I'm not sure that this Zoom is going to be good to do some interaction. So I thought that maybe the first day I'm not using any of the interactive things, but just to show these slides. Okay, so key components of the systematic review is you have to have a clear research question. You need to have a well-defined question. You can use that PICO kind of frameworks for usually the systematic reviews or the meta-analysis are mostly done in medical researchers because they need to know the right decision for drugs or the disease control or things like that. And the second step is the protocol development. Before starting a review, you must have a detailed protocol, outline the methodology, what are the inclusions and exclusions of the criteria you're going to think about, and what are the research strategies, and how do you extract their data, and then what are the planned analysis using all those extracted data. So sometimes the protocols often register databases like Prospero to enhance the transparency. So these kind of protocols, when you name it and show it, then everyone knows that you use this protocol and these are the things inside this protocol. And then you need to run a comprehensive literature search. Not only one search engine, maybe few search engines like PubMed, Cochrane Library, Web of Science, SciFinder Scholar, or Current Content. As many sources as possible. You need to go through it, and also you need to look at the gray literature and also some conference findings, and also all the relevant, you need to try all the relevant studies capture. And then you need to study selection. So based on the criteria, exclusions and inclusions, like, okay, I'm not going to use field studies, I'm only use laboratory experiments. Then you can easily call the field experiments, only gather information about the lab experiments. So this process help you see the many reviewers, and also you could reduce the bias of collecting information. Then the data extraction. Data from the included studies are extracted systematically, often using standardized forms. This will ensure the consistency of the collected data. And then after collecting everything, you need to have some kind of quality assessment, risk of bias. So you can use some kind of scales or tools for this. These are actually for medical researchers, but for the biological researchers, time to time, you could use those kind of scales. And then you need to synthesize the data quantitatively or like meta-analysis. So you could also qualitatively, some kind of narrative synthesis, you can do that. And then reporting and interpretation result. Usually we use this PRISMA method for systematic reviews. Okay, so these are the key components of the systematic reviews. And what are the benefits of systematic reviews? There are few actually. Systematic review give you all relevant studies. So you can thoroughly go through all of these findings. And also it's minimize bias. The structured approach and the use of multiple reviewers reduce the risk of bias. And also transparency. Detailed protocol give you the transparency of what you did, so anyone can do it again, or you can show the standardized method what you already used. And these systematic reviews usually give us the evidence for the policy and the practice or for further research. So I kind of organize a systematic review workflow. For example, if you have a question like, what are the effects of high protein diet on weight loss in adults? So that is the your research question. And then you could develop a protocol. So what kind of studies we are going to use that one? Randomized control trials or the age group? Or what are the high protein diets? So what kind of high protein diets they're using? And also what is the standard diet, standard protein content in a diet? And then also you can think about what are the databases and what are the data extraction methods. And then you need to do the literature search, PubMed, Cochrane Library, SciFinder Scholar, Web of Science, current content, or you could use all those databases, and also you could use that specific keywords to find the search the databases, and also Boolean operators, which is and or things like that. And then you could screen the study, so exclusion criteria, use the exclusion criteria and review screen the studies, and then extract data and assess quality, and synthesis data, and also report findings. So this is the basic systematic review approach. I'll give you 2-3 minutes to look at this evidence pyramid, then I'll talk about it. You can ask questions from the chat, okay? Okay, so as you can see, the upper level of evidence pyramid is a systematic review and also meta-analysis. In the bottom of the pyramid, the weaker evidence, and then we build up our evidences tier by tier, and then meta-analysis give us a very good comprehensive and strong evidence for a research question. Any questions so far? Any questions? How do I know you guys are here in the Zoom?
At least I am here. Please count on me.
Okay. So only one person?
No, up to now we understood.
Sorry?
Up to now we understood the content.
Okay. So I remember that when I was a student, so 2 to 4 is a time for crop science lectures. So basically our sleeping time. So I guess you guys are the same or bit different than the time we had our lectures.
Yes, madam. I'm Guttila, and in this systematic review, now we know that it is highly, impressive for this synthesizing the research evidence. But when it comes for the systematic review, so what do you think about the publication bias? Now, we want to get these positive results. So in that case, we are going with the significant or the positive results. And negative and all these things we are not thinking. So don't you think now in that way, when we are selecting these things, how that publication biasness going to impact on this systematic review?
it is something you cannot avoid in the first step of a systematic review. So you always have the publication bias. So, but when you are doing a meta-analysis, we could see the publication bias using the funnel plots and also sometimes not only publication bias, you have the index bias too. So we are gathering most of the information which is relevant to one research question, but it also have a kind of bias in it. So I'm going to talk about this bias in a separate slide or few minutes in the later day. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I think the world is now realizing that most of the research people are using again and again and also in the wrong way. So actually we need to be really careful about when we are doing a meta-analysis or systematic review, that not to avoid the unnecessary or the not good enough papers. Okay.
And again, but one thing now I don't know how to ask this, some sort of heterogeneity. Simply now we are selecting some studies. There are some variability among studies. Say simply study design, or as you mentioned that PICO, the populations or some sort of outcomes, measurements, right? Say now we are getting lab analysis and the field stuff. So you mentioned that when we are taking, sometimes we are getting only the lab or the experimental stuff only, but sometimes I have seen this systematic stuff, there are this heterogeneity in that. So in that sense, sometimes we can say inconsistent results or kind of interpretation and synthesis will have impact, right? This heterogeneity.
Yes, there's always a heterogeneity impact on our systematic review, but it's also we can kind of like accommodation of that heterogeneity things. So I'm going to talk about it in a few, maybe not today, maybe next week, about this heterogeneity related issues. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? From the students?
I think they have the challenge with the limited access to data, I think. Some.
Okay. Okay. So I just then continue with the other parts of my talk. So the meta-analysis, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
So the meta-analysis is a statistical technique used to combine the results of multiple studies addressing the same research question. It's often conducted as a part of the systematic review. So you summarize everything with the meta-analysis. And also the meta-analysis provides us the overall effect size and identify patterns and sources of variability among the study results. Okay. So the aim of this meta-analysis part 1 is to understand the concept and tools. Here I put two of the pictures. One is the forest plot about the effect size, and the other one is the funnel plot. It's the kind of tools we use for meta-analysis. And also I'm step out the meta-analysis steps, and also not today, I think, because I'm not, I mean, you guys are not ready for using the R yet. So I just want next week to use the, show some analysis of using the metaphor package. Okay, so for the next week, I hope you guys can install R and install R Studio. If you can look at the R Markdown or files, then it could be good for we can start some kind of analyzing. Okay, I put the R and R Studio websites and also the website down here, the GitHub web link. You could see the how you install R and R Studio. One thing is first, you need to install R first and then after that R Studio. Okay, so not R Studio first and second R. First R and then R Studio. So, as I said before, I'm going to step out the meta-analysis. Then first 3 steps: define research question, inclusion criteria, systematic literature search, and the data extraction. I talk about it, the systematic review, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Okay. And then the next step is the effect size calculation. The first step is meta-analysis, is to calculate the effect size for each included study. Effect size is actually a standardized measure that quantify the strength and direction of the relationship between variables. So you could have 3 kind of effect sizes. One is you could use mean differences and odds ratio or relative risk, which is for binary outcomes, and correlation coefficient. So, and then you need to have some kind of weight for the studies. Usually we use sample size and also variance. So the smaller variances contributed more to the overall estimate, and then they provide the more precise information. And then combining effect sizes, we can weight and the effect size, and then we could have the pooled estimates, and then you can use the different models. I'm going to talk about it in detail one by one in later times. And fixed effect models assume that all studies estimate the same underlying effect. And then random effect models assume that the studies estimate different but related effects and accounts for both within study and between study variability. And then heterogeneity assessment. And then the heterogeneity refers to the variability among study results. It is assessed using statistical tests like Cochrane's Q test and I-square statistic. And also significant heterogeneity suggests that the studies are not all estimating the same effect. Okay, so and then we may think about to use the random effects models or the subgroup analysis. And then publication bias assessment, we could use that funnel plot or also Akers test for to see the publication bias. And then we need to do the sensitivity analysis to test the robustness of the meta-analysis. And then finally, the forest plot, graphical representation of the individual study effect sizes and the pooled estimates. So some facts about the meta-analysis. This provides more precise and reliable estimates than individual studies alone. We can only use similar type of studies for the meta-analysis because, for example, studies where the treatment are assigned or observational studies, we cannot mix that two together when we are doing the meta-analysis, unless you have some kind of standardization method you can use. So because of this analysis method, meta-analysis primarily address quite simple comparisons. Okay, so if you want to do a more complex comparison, then you need to have the categorical variable, something like subgroup effect, checking the subgroup effects, or also meta-regression for the continuous variable. The types of variables and the study design determine the effects of types of effect size that is synthesized in the meta-analysis. Okay, so the types of variables, this is very, I just took it as a very common understanding. If any of you doing data science or data related studies. So I give you 2-3 minutes to think about an example of each of these variable types. Just think about it and then we'll discuss in a few minutes time. Okay, so what do you mean by categorical variable? Can anyone write on the chat? Or numerical variable? I would like to students participate in here. Otherwise, I'm only one talking and you guys are not doing anything. Yes. Education level, land use pattern. Yes, the categorical variables. Numerical variables, then? ranking first, second, and third. Yeah, the height, weight, temperature, yes, those are the numerical variables. So numerical variables also have two types. Discrete, continuous variables. Continuous variables is just we have the decimal places, but the discrete variable just numbers only, no decimal places. And then nominal and ordinal, there are two categories. Okay, so one more. What do you mean by true zero? So next few minutes I'm going to use for to explain the how to calculate effect size. When an explanatory variable is categorical and the response variable numeric, then something like difference in means you could use as a effect size. Okay, so for example, the study question is a comparison of effectiveness of the high-fat diet versus high-carbohydrate diets for weight gain in broiler chicken. So exploratory variable is diet type, and the categorical variable is high-fat or high-carbohydrate. So response variable is weight gain, is a numerical. So effect size is the difference in mean weight gain between the two groups. Okay. So the effect size is we have two variables. And then the effect size is difference of means. And we can use proportions and risk ratios. Someone is. Proportion and risk ratio. This is kind of like binary outcomes. So comparison of survival rates of males and females suffering a kind of disease. And then exploratory variable is binary because sex is male or female. Response variable is also binary, alive or dead. And then the proportion of females dying from disease A is P1, and proportion of males dying from disease A is P2. So the risk difference, effect size is P1 minus P2, or we could use that the ratio, risk ratio effect size P1 over P2. Computations are carried out on the natural log of the risk ratio. Okay, so and the same outcome we can talk about as the odds ratio or the risk ratio. So, for example, you could see that from the table, we can calculate odds ratio and also odds ratio effect size. We can calculate AD over PC. When the risk of the event is low, then the odds ratio will be similar in value to the risk ratio. However, odds ratio effect size is often referred to risk ratio because the superior statistical properties. Computations are also performed in the natural log of the odds ratio. Okay. There are a lot of, and also another way to explain the effect size is the correlation. So the correlation coefficient, sigma square xy divided by sigma x times sigma y, can also use as the effect size. So combining effect size. Okay, so we can find the effect size for one study. So and then we only have not only one study, maybe 100 studies, maybe 200 studies, but not all of them are similar. So we have some kind of standardization or the weighing or the different way of organizing the effect sizes. So the standardization, if you consider you may use the standardized method or you may not use it. For example, for the yield study, usually we have the yield interpreted as gram per plant in a plot study and also kilogram per hectare. So we need to kind of a way to transfer these different effect sizes in a way we can compare all the studies. Okay, so there is a method introduced by Jacob Cohen, and mean difference divided by pool, the pool within standard deviation. So, and also the variation of D, also called Hedges D. So this kind of, I'm going to talk about when we are actually doing the calculations, okay? And the weighting. So as you know that sometimes we have many replicates and also sample size is large sample size compared to the small sample size. So the large sample size, when you have large sample size, that means our results are kind of have a precision compared to the small sample size. So we need to give more weight to the more precise results compared to the less precise results. So information about the study precision is found in a standard error. I actually didn't plan for this, for going to the more statistical sense, because the next part is actually with the more statistical methods. These are the few of the literature. I think that good for you guys to look at it. So the doing meta-analysis in R, this book down org book is really a good one, Matthias Harris book, and also Spring this article, and also Borestein, Michael, Introduction to Meta-Analysis. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute now. So any questions? Any questions?
One question, ma'am. The R, you mentioned about the R markup to be installed. I believe it's a R package in the R Studio and could be used to integrate some documents. Is that?
Sorry,
You got my
Vasanta?
question? Yeah, you got my question. The R markup I have not used actually. So
Oh.
is it within the R Studio package that we can
Yeah,
use?
yeah. The R Markdown is a reporting document. Like it's actually not really I need it, but the report is really looking good, so that's why I thought. But if you don't use the R Markdown, haven't used the R Markdown before, don't worry about that. So I can run the normal R.
No, I think we love to see that because we have not been used R Markdown.
R Markdown, okay.
Please.
So the Nirmala, like this is someone here again from
Yeah.
So for example, we don't have no time to make a database. For the database, something the creating a database taking another big lot of time and things. So what do you think you have going to use a sample database or like what is the plan for that?
Actually we have, I mean, Metaphor package already have the kind of database. So I am going to use that database for training purposes. So if you have a database, I can use that one, but otherwise I think I can find database for.
Okay. No, I mean to say like if we have database, no problem. But otherwise, we have a couple of databases, we can use as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's better to have a something with the Metaphor package or any other package, so student can look at the example and then little bit read more about it. So that's I thought that I'm going to use the already used example for example of database. So Vasanta, I think if you really need to know the R Markdown, I think I can put kind of like web document just to see that. I can show you a little bit. And just let me see that whether I can. Okay, so just give me a minute.
Never mind, madam. I think since we are working on this one later, maybe you can do it by that time. That's fine.
Oh, okay, then.
Thank you.
I just anyway.
I can see in the internet how it's being used. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Excuse me, madam.
Yep.
Madam, will there be any kind of demonstration to show us how to develop a database, like by at least giving few examples? I think that would be very helpful.
How to develop a database. Okay.
Yes.
I think I little bit talk about it in the systematic analysis. So kind of having a table of a summary table is the best way to when developing a database. So for this kind of meta-analysis, you may not need a very sophisticated database. Even Excel, you can use Excel to develop your database. You just need to have the what are the required, what you're going to collect as variables, and name of the author's name, and few of the things. So I'll show you a good example of databases in the next day, because I was really worried about that. If I'm putting a lot of statistical stuff here in the student feel uneasy about this. So I just thought that start with just stop in the effect size, and then the next day I'm going to talk about the more statistical issues, and also going to do the demonstrations of how to do the meta-analysis. Okay.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions?
No, it is better now. I think now, because a lot of students here, so now all the members just try to use here, kind of meta-analysis. It is better if you can tell which kind of instances do we do the meta-analysis, and what are the instances we should not. For an example, insufficient number of studies, right? Likewise, so students might, they might have that question, I think, when we can do the meta-analysis and when we not.
Yeah, if you don't have at least 10 data studies, so it's very difficult to do the meta-analysis. It's more the merrier, actually. But if you have lots, then you have kind of index bias also can happen. So at least you have to have 10 research relevant to your research question to do a meta-analysis. That's my understanding. Okay, so it seems like students not talking or putting any.
This is very traditional Sri Lankan style. It's very hard to get a couple of words. So from students. So
Okay.
yeah, like if you have any questions, you can ask from Dr. Nirmala. This is an opportunity. You capture that one.
Madam,
At least can we see your faces?
madam, I have a small question.
Yeah.
Madam, will there be any demonstration on how to develop a forest, that forest map or something like
Yes,
that? Okay.
of course. Yes. That is the idea, isn't it? I'm going to show the tools and
Okay.
Not only forest plot, but also funnel plots too.
Okay.
So if I ask about the reflection of what you did today, any student, do you think that any student volunteer for that? Is that the way it is?
Shifa, we'll ask Shifaya too, because Shifaya and Pumi is there because the two students working with us now on meta work. So we can even they can come and ask something. Yeah, so how they feel. Hi,
Good
Shifaya.
evening, madam. Good evening, madam.
Hello, Sufaya, sorry.
It's very clear, madam, and I was expecting for several days to contact to have this meeting because it is very new concept for us, and it's very crystal clear. And I also thought I have to do some other hard work to do my research because I'm doing the meta-analysis for my final year research. And also I have gained some of the ideas about the effect size that some of the lecturers asked the questions. So from that questions, I got some knowledge to develop my research very well. And I was very eager to waiting to the next session for the meta-analysis. That means I have now created some of the databases for my research. I have only 4 observations because I have got 2 papers and 4 observations, but the next session will be more helpful for me. Thank you, madam, for conducting this sessions.
I'm really sorry. I am actually want to do it in face to face, but it didn't happen. And also last week I was really sick and I lost my voice. And also up to now I lost my smells too. So it's just like odorless world for me now. So sorry about that. So Piyumi, you around here?
Looks like she's not around.
Okay, she think that.
Hello, am I audible, madam?
Hello, Piyumi. So,
Hello.
anything to add here?
Yeah.
Ask.
Very first, thank you, sir, both madam and sir, for your immense guidance on our research. And when doing meta-analysis, we improved a lot of skills on analysis. And yeah, thank you, madam. Actually, I'm not in a place to talk. So,
Okay.
thank you so much, madam.
Okay. Any questions from the staff? I mean, what do you think, Samanya? Have to go again and do something else, or just enough for today?
So how you're comfortable, if you're comfortable and because you're not well as well, no? So if you want to take to the next day, or if you want to extend, like a little bit more, that's fine, It's purely up to you. I think there may be some staff members too, they may have a few commitments as well. But we go a bit slowly. If you want to, we can take a couple of more days if you want to take more time. But I really, Nirmala, appreciate. So we try to get this set of skills to the students as well, and then we also can refresh some of the concepts and some of the things we been over the years, like miss out in the whole process. And right now we have a couple of students got very interested. There are a few more students want to do, and also the staff also talked to a couple of staff members too. They were very keen to get this set of skills, and so we also, if you can think about putting some if you use any tools beyond the R for the plotting and some screening and this type of thing, like a pre-processing data, etc. Would be good, we can get all the materials into one place, then everybody have access all the material. And also we can share some of the publications, recent publication in the especially in the meta-analysis, some come into the biological science, chemical science, physical science, like that. We pick up couple and we put them to go through, and what kind of the materials, tools we use to get into that shape, etc. And we pick up good publication. This is, again, I see this is opportunity for us. We don't have a lot of resources here.
Yes,
and,
I can see.
Yeah. And the only thing is we can see, we can think that we still is, that's the only thing what we have here right now. So because this resources is free of, you can access to the publications, all these things is available, readily available. And if we can put together this thing, we can take it to really good Q1 publication, to top journals. So this is a good thing. And also database, basically we need to have really the best database to publish in the top journals. The database, I remember we developed a database, nearly we had 200 publications. And in fact, now we are expanding that database. And that's we need to, if you want to capture really, if you want to push into a top journal, you need to have a really top database. And also you can, at the end, you can publish database as well. You can get 2 publication in one shot.
Yeah.
So this is it's excellent. Yeah, please, it's up to you to make want to continue or you want to stop and start from next week.
Okay, then. So maybe I start in the next week. So we already 1.5 hour, nearly 1.5 hours, isn't it? So only another half an hour. I may not finish anything substantially for
And
any
again,
statistical.
Yeah, madam, again, last question. I don't know, last question. Now think about, now there are students from different fields here. I think now applied social and a lot of areas they are working on. So, and you mentioned about the qualitative and the quantitative data. So as far as I know, the meta-analysis and this will be most suitable for this quantitative data.
Quantitative data, yes.
Yeah, qualitative will refer the non-numerical kind of your interview, open-ended one, and the photographs and that kind of focus groups and all these things. So that is, the student will know, some members working on some social stuff and field stuff. So any kind of extended or extension or any kind of meta-analysis, or which kind of one must be more suitable for that kind of fields, qualitative.
In a sense, I talk about the qualitative things. Sometimes you have data, one quantitative and then the other one is qualitative. So in that sense, we can use that qualitative data for meta-analysis, but purely qualitative data, I haven't come across something like that yet. but I'll talk with the social science expert statistician about that and talk about in a later day.
Yeah, madam. And thank you for, taking part with your, this, difficult situations. And it is nice to be with you. And thank you very much for all your efforts on behalf of the University of Ruhuna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So then shall we stop, Nirmala? Thank you very much again from our side, and also the students. We want to say that take opportunity, and when come to the next session, read a little bit more and come. Then the things will be much easier, because this is again the new area of statistics, and it will be very helpful when you come to the next session if you read a little bit more. Okay. So then, shall we close the chapter now?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
for
thank you very much.
participating.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See you in the next session. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.